My name is Darren Hall. I'm 29 years old and I'm mixed race. Growing up during the 80s and the 90s was very difficult for me because of my colour. I was forced to be black even though I didn't see myself as black, and teasing happened on a regular basis. I've noticed recently that mixed race people have become a normal part of the society that we live in. We no longer have to feel separate because we have our own accepted race. So I wonder, do kids at school now find growing up mixed easier? And am I alone in my past? Or do other children of the 80s share my stories? My challenge is to find out. This is Life as a Mixed Race Child. This is Andy Mundy Castle, an up-and-coming director and producer with some really good projects behind him, including work with Nike, and he was more than happy to talk to me on this subject. Hi Andy, thanks for letting me into your world for a day.
No problem.
How do you feel about being mixed race?
It's a funny question really, because being mixed race is more than, it's quite a loaded question, because for me I see, identity as something that is made up of a lot of different components and not just your race. Yes, I do feel more like I'm a black man, I do, and I associate with I associate with the black culture a lot more than I do say a Western mainstream white culture, because I always sort of say that if I was to walk into a room full of white people, I'd immediately stand out. Whereas if I walk into a room full of black people, I feel accepted and I feel comfortable and I feel as though there is no question of otherness. Whereas I find white people to be less accepting of difference.
Okay, do you have any really bad memories of being mixed or being abused for being mixed?
Yeah, I do remember when I was growing up, there was an old lady that was sitting at a bus stop, and she just screamed at me, and I couldn't understand why she was obviously mad. Looking back on it, she was obviously mad, but she screamed at me and said, "It's you, you're all mixed and you're the problem. This is the problem." And she was an old lady and she was shouting at me. I was probably about 14 at the time. And I couldn't understand why this old woman was just going so irate at the fact that I was mixed. And I was with another mixed race kid at the time. It didn't bother me, but it was, if I look back on things that have defined how I feel about this maybe potentially being a problem, that would be one of the only things.
Did you have any problems with school, and did the colour that you were kind of affect any kind of behaviour from teachers who you made friends with? Did you deal with any racism at a young age?
I mean, I'm quite aware of the fact that the lighter your skin tone, the more people warm to you. I've never disguised that fact. I've always known that people embrace me a lot more so than they would if I was a darker skin tone. And I see that more as a problem of wider society and something that has kind of followed me throughout my life. But then I never understand what it's like to be totally one way or totally the other. So that was something that always came up in school, was that if people were cussing about your mum this, your mum that, or whatever when you were younger, people would always say, "Well, where are you from? Where are you from?" And when you're young, you don't really know how to answer that. You don't really know you don't really understand the deeper context of that. You kind of you're just affected by it on a harsh, bullish, childish level. You think, "Oh, well, where am I from?" Because my dad is from England, my mom is Nigerian, and you are caught in between dual nationalities. And when people alert you to that fact of your difference, it makes you think. But now, as I'm older, I feel very privileged to have those two backgrounds, and I feel very privileged to be culturally enriched by two polarized identities.
The next part of my journey led me to Liam Howard, known to most as musician Big Rooks. He grew up in both North and South London and was kind enough to let me into his life for a day.
To tell you the truth, I feel privileged being mixed race. I feel like I've got the best of both worlds. Kind of growing up South London, that kind of urban area, had more of a Black Caribbean influence. So I guess I'm more in tune with that side, but you know, I'm mixed race. I'm half white, half black, and there's no denying that. At school, I say I never dealt with any direct racism at all. Being young, you kind of associate racism as you can have someone that's only the opposite colour of you can be racist towards you. You know, I went to a predominantly black school, so there was definitely none of that. You know, like whites versus blacks or blacks kind of. There was never none of that in my school. Being teased by like my friends and stuff like Dilute or Yellow Man and Bart Simpson and stuff like that. I'm not sure if you'd call it racism, but there were some minor kind of racist slurs. I look at it more of like as a teasing. You know, as you tease your friends about anything, as having mash up trainers or a hole in their jump, when you tease them about that. It was more of like, you know, people did it because they were my friends or they were really like close to it, but I didn't really see it as attacking. Like I'm a group of friends with we had little nicknames for everyone type thing. I knew one guy who was so black we used to call him Tipex. I'm not sure how racist that could be, but you know what I mean? You wouldn't just say it to anyone out on the road. You wouldn't go walk down and see a dark skinned guy and start calling him names, or a white guy start calling, but you know, you got little initiations with your friends and whatnot. Whenever I did get attacked, not very often, but it was from white people, yeah, I'd say. Older white people mainly, or never really white people my own age, more people that was like 4 or 5 years older than me.
This is my godson, Jaden Lowe. He's currently going in South London. He's 6 years old, and the last piece to my puzzle are finding how mixed-race children see the world in the millennium. Hi Jaden, you alright? Yeah. Just gonna ask you some things about school, yeah? When you're at school, what kind of colour friends do you have?
I have black, white, and black.
So mainly like black and white friends, yeah?
Yeah. White. Lots of white people, but one black.
Oh, okay. What colour are you?
Brown.
Brown.
Got a bit of black in me and Chinese.
Oh, okay. So you got a couple of things. But what colour would you call yourself though?
Brown.
Brown. And what colour's your best friend?
Black.
Best friend's black, yeah?
Yeah.
So school's cool then?
Yeah.
Nobody ever says anything like racist or anything bad about you?
No.
Or about the colour of your mum or anything like that, no?
No.
Okay, so all your friends are cool and you go to a good school then?
Yeah.
Cool. While we were out for the day, he mentioned something to me about wanting to be darker. I found this quite fascinating, so I took one last opportunity before I dropped him home to ask him why. Is there any other reason why you'd want to be a different colour, or do you like the colour that you are?
I like the colour that I am, but I just want to be darker.
Darker?
Yeah. Because they're dark brown and black's darker than brown.
And you like darker, yeah?
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, as society has moved on, so too has the minds of our children. School doesn't seem to have a problem for a mixed-race child anymore. Even at a predominantly white school, Jaden still made friends with the only other black kid and wishes he was darker rather than white like the majority, and that pleases me no end. Will racism ever go away? Who knows? Probably not. But at least things seem to be better than they were, and mixed race people are no longer seen as different.
It's like my life took a turn for the best. I used to take 2 steps, get knocked back and fall flat on my chest, feeling helpless. Now I'm on the move, no time for a rest. But see, I'm feeling all the things I used to do were just for fun. See, I'm feeling like a newborn child, like